In this movie, we have two files open. One of them 0905 employee table, and the other one, and we can get to it by way of the View tab, the drop arrow for switch windows, regional sales. And we'd like to write a formula in the employee file that gathers data from the various sheets, East, Midwest, South, and Pacific, in the regional sales file. We can move back and forth quickly between files with Control Tab, so pressing Control Tab. I want to set up a linkage formula in cell J8, tabulating couches total. Start with equal. We can then press Control Tab to go back to the other workbook. On the East sheet, click the total cell for couches, a plus, and we'll do the same thing for the Midwest, plus, and South and Pacific. And enter, and we have our linkage formula. Quite lengthy, showing us not only those cell locations, but also the sheet names and the file name. Now, anytime you've got a linkage formula, a formula that gathers data from another workbook, on the Data tab, this is reinforced by the fact that the Edit Links option is selectable. When you choose Edit Links, you do see references to other files, and certainly there could be more than one. We might have formulas elsewhere based on this workbook and possibly based on other workbooks. In the Edit Links dialog box, you'll also note Startup Prompt. Click this button. Now, in the future, when you and possibly others are going to be opening this workbook, you have the ability here to say, I don't want to be reminded of that. In other words, don't display an alert, but yet update the data. I don't think most of us would want this choice, nor the one above it, which doesn't display any alert. And therefore, in both of these cases, you don't even know that there are links necessarily. And one of them updates, one of them doesn't. By far, the preferred choice is the first one. And the wording is a little bit off. It seems to be asking if the users really want to see the prompt or not. This will provide the prompt automatically, and then the user will decide whether to update them or not. This is the preferred option. We'll click OK. This means that in the future, when we open this file, we will see a prompt. Now, also while we're here, and something that seems to be missing, and I don't want to use the term missing link, what seems to be missing here is the idea that we don't necessarily know where the linkage occurs. Now, obviously in the example here, we just wrote the formula and we know that. But what if you didn't write the formula, you happen to see this? Do you know where the formula or formulas are that are linked to this other workbook? So let's close this and let's imagine that maybe we didn't write the link. We know that one is found. Maybe when we open this workbook, someone sent it to us, we're looking at this sheet, that sheet, and we happen to go to the Data tab and we see Edit Links, but that doesn't tell us where the links are. What can we do about this? Let's select all sheets, and you can start from any one of the sheets. Right-click, select all sheets, and then click in the upper left-hand corner, and in effect, we've selected every cell in all the workbooks. We're going to go to the Home tab, and then the extreme right button, Find and Select. We're going to be looking for, by way of find, what all linkage formulas have in common. They have a reference to other files embedded in left and right brackets. So we can search for a left bracket or a right bracket, either one, and we'll find all. And this will list all of them. In this case, there's only one, and because there is only one, it takes us to the very first one anyway. There it is. And in some situations, of course, you'll see a much, much larger list, quite a few formulas perhaps, and you can go to each one of them in that case. So we can track them down. Not the most direct thing in the world, but certainly it's there and it's easy to find. We now want to see what happens when we open this file. We refer to the prompt that we're about to see. Let's close this file. Another question in your mind might be, does the other file, the source file, have to be open from now on when we open? No, it doesn't. So let's close this file and save the changes. The other file is currently open, but it doesn't need to be open. We might make some changes to it. We could do that, but let's say we just close it. File closed. We haven't made any changes, therefore no prompt. So at a later time, we will open the employee file. Go to the File menu, and it's in our list of recently used files, so we'll simply get to it quickly this way. We will open this employee file, and here's the prompt. This workbook contains links to one or more external sources that could be unsafe. And if we want to update, we will. And if not, we won't. In this case, in the meantime, since we've closed this, no other changes have been made, but there could have been changes made. And if we choose update, sometimes, for example, if this cell is visible, we will see it change on the screen. In this case, that doesn't happen. So in any workbook, if you have formulas that are getting data from other workbooks, you can verify that or find them by way initially of going to the Data tab, choosing Edit Links to see if there are links, and then track down the links as we suggested by searching for left and right brackets. And one pitfall of linking workbooks for sure is the fact that there will be times when the source workbook has been moved and either you or someone else forgot that there was linkage. There will be times when you need to change the source. Now, that sounds like somewhat of a nightmare scenario, but you can control the linkage by way of this Edit Links dialog box. The other file, the one that's currently not open, there's no indication whatsoever in that file that there is any linkage formula that's pulling data from it. So think of the Edit Links feature as only identifying the formulas that provide the linkage. So in no way, for example, if we open that other file, the regional sales file, there's no indication in here whatsoever. In other words, when we go to the Data tab, Edit Links is not selectable. There are no formulas in this workbook that gather data elsewhere. If the two files are open together as they are right now, I'm going to make a change to one of the pieces of data, for example, on the E sheet. I'm going to change the couches here, the total to be 1,500. So the amount's gone up about 300, 350 or so. We've made a change here. If we jump back to the other workbook with Control Tab, of course, this number had been in the 11,000 range. Now it's over 12,000. You would expect that to happen because both files are open. But even when the other file is closed, if we at some later point open this file, it will be updated based on those prompts.